slipping through my fingers all the time. I tried again, every minute.
Alright, hello fellow YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through a bit of the behind the scenes of my song, It's a Friend That Finds Me, and the music video that I made for it. So first, where did the idea come from? Well, it started with just the chord progression on the guitar. I was at a camp and we're all sitting around the campfire and I was just playing this chord progression on the guitar on Capo 5 and I was like, this sounds sick, this is a vibe. And the only words I had in my head were find me. Da 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 and find me. That's all I had in my head. I knew as I was writing, I was like, this is a pretty simple melody, maybe even bordering on generic, which to me can be a bit boring. But after this camp, I went home and I worked on this song a bit. I thought of some words to go through it, thought of a bridge and how it all went into the big chorus. And it actually turned out to be something that I was happy with. Even though the melody was one of the more simple ones I've written, it was the overall vibe, the dynamic, the atmosphere, the meaning behind it which really stood out to me. And that is then what motivated me to actually make it into a music video. So, let's go into Reaper here for a second. This is the program I use to mix all my songs. Disclaimer, I am not a professional, so people who have done this for years will probably see things that I do and vomit. Okay, so if we have a look here, the intro, it starts with a reversed chord, so I just strums the chord and reversed it. That's literally how it starts. And then of course a lot of reverb on top of the whole thing. And then the guitar comes in. Let's pause for a sec and solo the background ambience. So this, have a look here, campfire. So, yeah, it just sounds like noise with an excessive amount of reverb on it. But if I turn off that reverb, then...
What? I'm just recording ambience.
Why are you recording?
Just background noise.
That's funny, actually. Yeah, so I was just recording campfire ambience, just what was going on. I had no idea what I was even going to use it for. I didn't even know if I was going to use it for a song. But I just thought, what can I do with it? And adding all the reverb to it is what made it so, like, amazing, really, in this song. Because I only record like a minute of it, though, I had to stretch it and reverse parts of it. So the start here is reversed. Okay, so, yes, the guitar. This is on Capo 5. It's a C add 9, and you're sliding up 2 frets and doing the same pattern, but it's sort of a D chord. I don't actually know what it is, and then a G, and that's the 3 chords. And then as that's coming in, I've got playing the chords down without a capo, transpose, which is F, G, and C. So believe it or not, you actually can't hear. I've never noticed that bit I just showed you, just the one strum, but it really comes in around here. So you just hear the normal chords mixed with those two, and it just makes it a bit more fuller, in my opinion. It originally was just the higher one, but because it was on Capo 5, it was more of a higher register, maybe, if that's the right technicality. I'm probably stuffing it up. But the guitar, the lower chords added to that more mid-range or lower range, and it sort of made it more fuller, which was very exciting. Oh, and this, so these, all the reverse notes down the bottom was a last minute thing. It just sort of felt empty, like there needed to be some progression, some more elements to it. And because I'd used it in the intro, I thought, well, it's already been introduced, I might as well bring it in. So I think I originally had it just around, oh, I've called it the chorus here, what I called the bridge in my intro. I think I only had it there, but then because it suddenly comes in, eventually it just dragged through the entire song. But it sounds like... This is editing me here. Just realized I forgot to mention what the bridge is made of. It changes a bit. That's where minor chords come in. So on Capo 5, it starts with a minor, and then normal D, not the weird D I'm doing. Normal D, then G, then C, add 9, and that's repeated twice. But then because the lower range guitar is also in it, on that it's D minor, G, C, and F, and that's also repeated twice. Yeah, pretty cool. I love hearing that just by itself, but unfortunately that full sound of each chord gets lost in the mix, and you really only hear the tail end of it, but it really adds a lot to it. See, even listening to it now, I can't really hear much of it, but like if I get rid of it, it sounds like something's missing completely. And then there's the picking, which comes in. So currently, I think, yeah, I just recorded that once and then duplicated it, slid one over slightly, and panned it to left and right. Normally it is better to record it twice. So with chords, for example, that does not work, but I noticed for picking, it actually doesn't matter that much. Like, it actually sounds alright. So there's like the lower of that and the higher one. And then that lasts... I forget the reverb fully just drags out like that. And then that lasts throughout the whole... Actually, for the rest of the song, to be honest. And then if we go to the end... So it just goes back to the high guitar bit, and the picking sort of fades out, like the higher, or plucking, the higher plucking goes out first and the lower one goes out. But anyway, now, as some of you may have noticed, this is just the instrumental, this project. So the way I've learned to do this via another friend of mine is to make the instrumental in one project, render that, then put that into a new project, then add the vocals to it. Is this the most efficient way to do it? Probably not. Does it work for me? Currently. Okay, so here we are on the vocals project. Here's the instrumental up the top. The first vocals that come in. So all three separate recordings, the vocalizing left and right. Yeah, I'm singing the same thing, but it's different takes, and that comes in first. So then the intro basically has three, the terminology's escaping my head, but 3 cycles, like just the guitar, then the reverse chords come in, then the humming, and then the singing starts. And the singing, for the most part, there's the main vocals. Come out to find me. And then I did it again normally I do it again 2 more times. In this case, I did it again 1 more time and reverbed it up crazy, and then panned one to the left and the right, so I've just duplicated it, but that sort of creates a fuller sound, I guess. See, if I get rid of it, it just disappears. Oh, see, look at this. In the vocals here, I've labeled them chorus, bridge, chorus. So I'm just a Gumby in instrumentals, not verse, chorus, verse. Anyway, yeah, so that lasts all the way up to the bridge. And then for the chorus, this is where it gets hectic. So in terms of the vocals, there's still the main. Because I'm singing a higher octave though, I've had to turn it down slightly, as you can see here. And then I've done it twice. Yeah, I did it a second time, but as you can see, that one I wasn't putting as much chest voice into it, and it was a bit weaker because it's sort of just meant to back it up and add to the layering of it. So there's that. The reverb's still here. So already that's 3 times that pretty much it's being sung. And then what also comes in is more vocalizing here, and this is what really gives it the impact. If you just get rid of this, if I mute this and go into the chorus, it sounds weak as. It maybe not weak as, but there's no like sudden change, there's no impact that really shows that the chorus is about to begin. If I put it back on, then it's fat and like, ugh. So that just sounds like that, and then I bring in even more vocalizing. Yeah, it always sounds really lovely to listen to it by itself. You hear all the harmonies and how it's sort of like a choir, I guess, but it always somewhat gets lost in the overall mix, but once again it adds a lot to it. And then as that's happening, I start singing harmony as well with the actual vocals. Yeah. But yeah, then all together, yeah, you get... So then for the ending, most of this drops, there's still the main vocal, the reverb, and then a little bit of the vocalizing. And then the final line in the song is actually in Farsi, which I've been learning for the last year, so it just changes it a bit. Coincidentally, it also rhymes with what I was saying in English, so the final line in English was just be me, and then I say vali, which is, I believe it means but. So I believe I'm saying vali shoma zendigiye man hasti, which is but, ooh. Not hasti, hastid. It should be saying, but you are my life, or you are all my life, meaning plural. Something like that. That's the context of it. Don't quote me on a direct translation. And then probably one of my favourite bits of how this ends, and it was somewhat a coincidence, is that the ambience, the reverbed campfire ambience, ends with someone laughing, and it just cuts and fades out like that. And it just fades out. Isn't that sick? I even go crazy about some of the things I make. I'm like, oh my god, this is like euphoric to my ears. Anyway, so that's behind the mix of the song. The meaning of the song, in a sentence, is me realizing all the friends I have, appreciating all the strong friendships I have, but not being too attached to them to the point where I only want to spend my time with them. I should still be happy with myself and my existence and not rely my happiness on spending time with my friends. And that's what the song is about, in a nutshell. And I think if you think about that meaning while listening to the lyrics, then it should make more sense. That's if you're confused what it means.